Hello, everyone. So, you guys, we are going to be talking about the new movie Leave the World Behind that the Obamas made. And not just all about that, I'll be talking to you guys about survivalist things that you can do, things that you might need, where you can go, so on and so forth. So, for those of you who have or have not watched the new movie that Obama's created, which was called Leave the World Behind, what happened during this movie was that there was a power grid that, like, the grid went down in America. Um, um, or you can assume that it was like an EMP, okay? Something along those lines. Well, it's interesting because Elon Musk must have watched it. Because in the movie, all these Teslas, spoiler alert, all these Teslas self drove themselves to this location and basically were like crashing themselves. Now, Elon Musk, 2 days after the movie came out, recalled all the Teslas to fix his what? Automated driving. It's wild. So, if billionaires like Elon Musk are paying attention to the movie, listening to the movie, and acting accordingly, then maybe it's good for us to do so as well. Now, here's some things that I personally took from the movie. Obama said that this was the way he thought, if it happened, the way that he's seen it happening. Okay. And, you got to think about if it's a power grid that goes down, then everything's going to go back to like the way things used to be. Okay. Like before electricity. Okay, so you're gonna have to know how to survive. You're gonna have to know, ways to cook, ways to start fires, way to keep warm, way to keep cool. You're gonna want to be prepped. Okay, now if it's an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse that happens to fry the electrical circuit in the grid, that could also take out any electronics. That could also take out cars. Now, with a power grid going down, the cars aren't affected. With an EMP, the cars would be affected, or certain things, okay? And not everything, and not fully affected. Some won't completely stop, some will, okay? But regardless, here's some things that you need to know. In the event of a natural disaster, or in the event of a situation like that, things that you're going to want to know is that in any event, the government has to let whatever, catastrophe, so you call it, they have to let it happen. They have to let it pass, because they're not going to go into a hostile situation. So they're going to let whatever that situation is happen, and then they're going to come together, figure out what needs to happen, get the supplies or the stuff together, and then they're gonna mobilize. Then they're gonna move it out and give supply and demand, so on and so forth. And sometimes it's super quick, but sometimes it could take up to 2 weeks to a month. Okay, so you need to have at least 2 weeks to a month worth of food, water, so on and so forth. Okay, it's just very important to have these things. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, I don't have money to be doomsday prepping or being a survivalist or an extremist. You call it what you want. But think of it like this. Whether it's COVID lockdown for a couple weeks, whether it's a blizzard, a storm, a flood, a tornado, a volcano, no matter what it is, it's better to have prepped and to be a little bit on a better note than to have not prepped and just be ass out. Right? So, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, things that you can do to help yourself out. So, if you are in a place that has a local Dollar Tree, okay, they have water, food for cheap. They have, and granted, this is not stuff that you're going to want to eat every day, but in an event of a serious situation, they have the necessities: beans, rice, canned foods. They even got seasonings, because you're going to want seasonings. They got waters, little juglets of water. They have paracord. They have tools, tapes, things to make your space comfortable. A lot of little things that you can go and get from there. Scissors and, coloring stuff so that you're not completely bored. Cards or little games. So all of those kind of things are things that you're going to want to stock up on. Now, when we talk about stocking up on foods and water, obviously water, get as much as you can to a degree, okay? Because you're going to need water. Water is important, okay? But then we take a note on the food. You got to think. Most people go for rices and beans, right? Okay. Well, if the grid went down, if the power grid went down for whatever reason, and it lasted 2 weeks to a month, understand that the water is connected to, excuse me, the water is connected to the electric, okay? So the water would only be on for maybe 2 weeks. So you're going to want to get all your water stocked up and saved by then, okay? And have water purification sources, like those little water straws or so on. So, just things like that. Fill up your tubs, fill up your sinks, things of that nature, okay? And you're going to want to really understand that if you're slim or scarce on water, you got to think you're going to have to wash your body, cook, use the bathroom, hygiene, you know what I mean? You're going to have to think about all that. Not only that, but you need water to survive. So, I recommend you not go and getting beans and rice. Why? I mean, yeah, have some on stock, of course, but think about it. Beans and rice, that's a rough one, because what do you need to cook beans and rice? Water, you guessed it. So, if you've got 10 years of supply of beans and rice, and that's the thing that you stocked up on, but you don't got water, you see the problem there? And yeah, you could eat rice and beans just the way they are, but ew, you know what I mean? So think about that. Definitely think about that. So then, you want to think about what foods are good. Okay, yeah, honey doesn't go bad. Okay, but who's going to want to sit there and eat all that honey? No, some people are diabetic. Let's be for real. Okay, you can go get noodles. You can eat noodles raw. It does come with seasoning. It is cheap. It does last 10 years shelf life. So that's a practical thing you could get. But also you could use it with water. Okay, so you can eat it either way. I've seen people eat it either way. Okay, other things like granola. That's a good thing to have on hand. Canned foods, they come with liquids. That's a good thing. Or a lot of them just come pre-made and you don't need to do anything to it. So, you definitely want to have your canned goods on stock. You're going to want to have iodine pills, because if the radiation is bad, you're going to want to have medications. They also got that at Dollar Tree, CVS, Walmart, so on and so forth. For the low, get the cheap stuff, because you're going to want to think whenever shit hits the fan, or as we call it, SHTF. Whenever that happens, if that happens, think of Black Friday. Right? There's people who get trampled, shot, stabbed, all for discounts, okay? That's what happens because of discounts. Can you imagine what would happen because of survival? Yeah. So, and even if it didn't happen, it's good to know. It's good to know. So, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're not having to run to the stores, because a lot of people are going to face the problems at the stores, okay? So you're going to want to already be stocked, already be prepped. You're going to want to be able to hunker down without having issues. Also, you're going to want weapons. I know we want to see the good in humanity. Whatever. You need to have some type of weapons. Knives, machetes, guns, paintball guns, flares, something. You're going to want to have something to defend your person and your stuff. You know what I mean? If it happens, you might not need it. But maybe think about it also. If there's no food for an extended period of time, at least you can go out with some type of weapon and source food. You can, shoot down an animal, chop up an animal, chop down some vegetables. Whatever you got to do, you just need to understand the prepping for that. Okay, and so back to the foods that you're gonna want. So those are good food options to have. Also, dehydrated food, freeze-dried food, canned food. Excuse me. Canning. Like in jars, mason jars. All that kind of stuff, that's good to have. Cereals, chips, snack stuff, all the little snack stuff, yeah, that's good stuff to have. Even candies, anything is better than nothing. So think cheap, think bulk, think quantity, not quality. Okay, yeah, of course, if you can get quality, good quality, but for sure you want quantity. Okay, so just make sure that you got enough of bulk stuff to make it through that. Side note, you're going to want to think about your environment. What are the natural disasters in your area should one occur? Have stuff prepped for that. Like if you're in a hot environment, you're going to want ways to cool. If you're in a cold environment, you're going to want ways to warm. If you're in a, earthquake environment, you're going to want things for that. If you're in a tornado environment, you're going to want shelter like that. So on and so forth. Know your regions, know what's going on in your areas. And just kind of prep for that. Okay. And these are just good things to have anyways. Also you're going to want med kits, like first aid stuff, band-aids, ace bandages, some type of medicines like Tylenols or stuff like that. Cold and flu medicine, natural stuff. You're going to want a lot of herbs. You're going to want like oils, things like that. You're going to want candles. All of those things during that time are going to be extraordinarily important for you to have. Okay. And if you've got smaller kids, you're going to want them to have a bug out bag as well. Have clothes ready, have, just have like a pre-made suitcase or something with clothes, just in case you do have to run. Okay, just in case you do have to go somewhere, or just in case something does, you're going to want to have clothes, underwear, shoes, protective gear, so on and so forth, food, water, survival, and med kits. You're going to want to have all that on deck where you can just grab and go if you need to. Okay, so, have it ready to roll. Okay, canned meats and stuff like that, phenomenal. You're going to want that. Let's see. Yeah, so, yeah, that's a good place to start. Okay, so for some of you can take $100 and go to the Dollar Tree and just get some of those things that we talked about. For others of you, go to Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, where you can go buy bulk and get the same things like macaroni and cheese, but think about the water thing. Okay, they have, bulk things that you can get that will be good for you and your family. You know what kind of stuff y'all eat. You know what kind of regimen y'all are on. For those of you who are all natural, you're going to want to like be able to grow your own food in your house or something, or stuff like that. Don't think, oh, I'm going to go buy freezer stuff. Because, yeah, that's great on a regular day if you have to like COVID lockdown. But if we're talking about like an EMP, or like if there's no lights, or electricity, then the likelihood of you using what's in that freezer the way that you're thinking is not likely. Okay, so prep for that. Also, you're going to want to have some type of backup generator, some type of batteries, flashlights, candles, other ways to cook food. You're going to want all of that. Those things are very important. And I think I'm just going to let this be the first episode, and we'll go more in depth later on. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed, never stressed, with much peace, much power, much love, much light, and of course, much joy. See you guys next time.